welcome to another video. This time it's not a beer and blades video. JH1095 suggested I do a gin and blades video. So that's what I'm going to do. When we get onto the blades, there will be two sections and they're both requests as well. But first of all, the gin. Got a nice glass, decent size, and we're going to crack open a bottle of Tanqueray export strength. No cheap shit here. So, good measure of Tanqueray. 3 slices of fresh lime. Some ice and a decent tonic. This is Fever Tree Premium Indian Tonic Water. So we'll fill that up. So here we go with the Tanqueray Export Strength, and this is 43.1 by volume. Cheers! Now that, as you might imagine, is absolutely delightful. It's very smooth, plenty of the botanical herby flavours. Not sharp, but it has a very refreshing bitter edge. Chin chin. So, as I mentioned, we've got two sections for the main business. A request from Tees Pike Angler to do a video on the Case Baby Butterbean, and a request from EMT Railfan to do a video about my most sentimental knife. Now, I have covered these two topics in the past, quite some time ago probably, so we'll revisit each of them in turn, starting off with the Case Baby Butterbean. Okay, so Tees Pike Angler has asked for a video about the Case Baby Butterbean. I currently have two. This one in smooth chestnut bone and this one in Bermuda green jig bone. You might guess from the name Baby Butterbean that these are quite small knives. We've got a closed length of 2 3/4 inches, 70mm. The main blade overall length of 1 3/4 inches, about 47mm. Cutting edge of 1.5 inches, just over 40mm. Got two blades. So there's a spear point and a little pen blade. The little pen blade is only 1 3/4 inches overall, with 1.5 inches cutting edge, about 32mm. The construction is, as you can see, the blades hinged at opposite ends, a single shared back spring in steel with 2 brass liners. Now, what I like about these knives is they're very, very suitable for carrying in the UK. We have quite strict laws. These are clearly smaller than the 3-inch blade limit. They're slip joints and they're not in the least bit aggressive looking. You've got the nice little pen blade there, which is ideal for opening the mail and packets and boxes, and that's not going to frighten anybody. But the larger blade is robust enough, I think, for some decent cardboard cutting or similar tasks. People in recent years, myself included, have been complaining that the build quality, the fit and finish on case knives is not what it used to be. However, these I'm very pleased with. All the parts are flush, they fit tight and close, and the transitions are all smooth. No noticeable gapping on the back. No blade play in any of the blades. As I say, these are quite small knives. Our usual size comparison is the Victorinox Spartan. So, as you can see, the Baby Butterbean is a big step downwards in terms of size. But I think this blade is just as useful. They don't weigh a great deal. The green bone, 38 grams, which in ounces, 1 1/3. So very easy to slip into your pocket and it's not going to get in the way. The chestnut bone is currently available in the UK for £60, which in dollars is $76.50, or in euros 67.25. I haven't been able to find the green bone one available in the UK at the moment, but I suspect you could still get it from Case themselves. The edges are good. I've had these a while, so these are definitely not the factory edges. You might be able to see there's a lot of scratching on this one from use, but they do take a nice edge. We've got Case there and on the ricasso and the dot pattern for the age. This one's stainless steel. I'll just check this one. They're both stainless steel. And we've got the pattern number USA and SS on the ricasso there. So these, I think, are excellent little knives. In terms of the fit and finish, the only thing really I think somebody might have a quarrel with, because both the blades share the back spring, there is some blade rub in the closed position where the small blade, the front part of the small blade, rubs up against the larger blade, and that does leave a little mark. I'm not particularly concerned about that for myself. Some people find it annoying. It would be perfectly possible to produce these knives with the shared back spring in such a way that there is no blade rub, but I think the amount of hand working that would require would put them into a different price bracket. So the only noticeable difference, I think, apart from the colour, on the smooth bone, the centre pin is completely smooth and flush, whereas on the green bone it's raised and domed, very nicely rounded off. So the Case Baby Butterbean, I think, certainly for the UK, this is a good value, good quality, very, very useful little knife, and I enjoy them a great deal. Two lovely little knives there, and we'll do a joint slideshow at the end. But now the next section is my most sentimental knife, requested by EMT Railfan. Okay, so EMT Railfan wants to see my most sentimental knife. Well, I don't actually have a sentimental knife in the normal sense. I have a lot of very nice knives which were sent to me as gifts from good friends, which of course are very important to me, treasures in my collection. But in the usual sense of a sentimental knife being one passed down through grandfather or father, I don't have anything that fits that description. I didn't know either of my grandfathers, and if my father had handed me a knife, I'd have stabbed the cunt with it. Anyway, so what we're going to look at is one of the knives that is key to me deciding to collect knives. This is the Mora Scout 39. I always liked knives when I was a kid, and swords and axes and things, and this is way back before the internet was a thing, and I thought it was just me. When I was a teenager I had one of these. This was back in the days when when kids of 14, 15, 16 could go to the local sports shop and buy a fixed blade knife for basically pocket money. And I don't know whatever happened to the original one. I don't know whether I lost it or gave it away or swapped it for something. But I used to take it fishing with me when I used to go fishing as a teenager. Although after a while I gave up on fishing. I realised I didn't need an excuse to sit by a pond for a couple of hours and watch the dragonflies. Then a few years ago, 6, maybe 7 years ago, I noticed a new shop opened in the city centre where I work. It's called Class Olson. They seem to be quite a general purpose store, hardware, electrical, household. So I went in and had a look round. It was very interesting. So I picked up a catalogue, took it home, and browsing through the catalogue I spotted one of these, and they were selling them for £10. So the next day I went straight back to the shop and I bought this. And I think this is a very underrated fixed blade knife, given the materials, given the price. I'm surprised more people don't latch onto these. So this is the replacement for the one I had as a kid. I paid £10 for this about 7 years ago. They did go as high as £20, but currently I believe they're on sale at Class Olson for £17, which in dollars is about $21.70, and in euros a shade over 19. So what have we got? Leather sheath, riveted and stitched. Nice belt loop. You easily get a 2-inch belt through that, I think. Retention strap with a popper, a press stud. So it's all how it should be done. No Velcro, no nylon. And the sheath has a plastic liner. So here's the knife. Quite a simple traditional scout knife. Drop point, edging towards a clip point, Scandi grind. This is a stainless steel. Cross guard for safety, stop your fingers sliding onto the blade. And the handle I believe is beech, and the stick tang is wedged in with a little circular spring wedge there. The fit and finish is really good. The Mora blade is pretty much the same as any other Mora blade. The handle's nice and smooth. Quite a small handle, but then this is intended as a scout knife, so it will be a younger person. But still I can comfortably get a grip. They come very sharp. We've got a blade length of 85mm, which is about 3 3/4, and a handle length of about 90mm, shade over 3.5 inches. So the size comparison for this, I think, rather than the usual Victorinox Spartan, we need to show it next to the typical Mora that most people are aware of, the Clipper or the Companion, depending when you bought yours. So you can see it's Smaller all round, the blade's shallower, a bit shorter, handle's noticeably smaller, but still a very capable knife. This isn't quite the factory edge, it's had a little bit of use, not a great deal, but as you can see, extremely sharp, cutting very smoothly indeed. So it's not a heavy knife. We've got a weight of 43 grams, just about, which in English, ounce and a half. So if we put the knife in the sheath, that ounce and a half goes up to just over 2 2/3 of an ounce. So you're not going to notice that on your belt. It weighs really very little, but it is a lovely knife. And as I say, it was spotting this in the Class Olson catalogue that reignited my interest in knives. Was one of the first I bought specifically because I wanted to collect them. So if you see one, I say grab one. That is good stuff. There you have it. A request video. Gin and Blades, Tanqueray export, and a couple of requested knife reviews. We'll do a joint slideshow now, so you can have a closer look at the blades. Thanks for watching.